Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series, Monday afternoon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm sure there are literally hundreds of you out there right now who are literally bored, down, depressed, and generally unhappy. I'd love to join you in such sentiments, but I can't because over the weekend I got engaged. That's right, my poor girlfriend, now fiance. Something must be wrong with her. She must need a head exam, and she agreed to marry me. What was she thinking? But I don't really know why I'm telling you this, because I'm actually fishing for more congrats messages. That's why I didn't get enough yesterday on my Facebook page. That's why. Anyway, on to more Supcom related things and channel related stuff. YouTube will be launching a new set of subscription based programming kind of things. It sounds complicated, but it's actually not. It will allow people to set up channels where they can charge a subscription fee. And you're like, whoa, no, what are you talking about? Well, don't worry, I would still keep exactly the same channel in play as we've got now, but we could have a new premium channel where people who don't mind paying, say, $1 a month or whatever to be subscribed to that channel could subscribe, and they could get all of the same content but advert free and maybe some extra premium content as well. And what will that do? Well, that will basically help me focus a little bit more on the whole casting side of things. Who knows, maybe work my magic towards that end goal of doing this properly as a career, but we're still a long way away from that. But this might help. It depends how much of a demand there is out there, how many people would be interested to do it. Why not just drop me a line on Facebook and let me know if you would be interested in something like that. $12 a year, does that sound acceptable or something like that? Let me know. I'd be interested to see. I haven't made any decisions yet anyway. It's not actually well, it's still in the works for YouTube. It's not actually a thing yet. They haven't released the update, but like I say, original channel, this channel will still stay intact in its current splendor and glory. Anyway, on to today's game. We've got a ladder match, and it's going to take place on Twin Rivers, so let's head on over there and see how these guys are going to get on. So, taking a look at our teams, because we don't need to talk about the map. We all know Twin Rivers and every nook and cranny. Let's take a look at our wonderful players. Over here on the left-hand side of the map, in the blue corner, it's my good friend and fellow caster TA4life going his ever customary Aeon, opening first land, and quite looking forward to at some point, we don't know when, because it's kind of difficult. I'm in the UK and he's in Seattle, so trying to get the times to sync up, not the easiest thing, but basically someone out there somewhere has done something very clever and allowed or made dual casting possible. Those of you that weren't aware, it was always a problem to get two people who weren't looking at the cast on the same machine to sync up, because different computers of course will run this game at different speeds, even if you're running it at the same speed. It's just the nature of Supreme Commander. So basically you both get horribly out of sync, and it made co-casting just a nightmare. But we will plan to do it at some point. I know a bunch of other people are already doing it, so you can check those out. I think Zlord and Olex maybe did one or something like that. So they've done one or two, so check those out. They can be found on Zlord's channel. Don't have the link to hand, but it's all on the forums, all the different people who stream and get all that stuff together, stream and cast, so you can go check it out. Let's take a look at our red player over here at the top right. It's BC's Lextalk. He's going UEF, opening first land, second land, third air, whereas TA4life went first land, second air. But the first little bit of lab play underway now as a Flare and a Mech Marine pass each other and don't successfully take either one of each other out, so that Flare is able to score a kill on Lextalk's Snoop, which didn't continue to make progression down past the central reservation with this lab. However, this lab heading south is probably going to get taken out by this Aurora here. It's under 50% of its health. That's if TA can actually manage to score a hit. Beautiful little bit of micro from Lextalk. Doesn't manage to take the engineer before he goes down, though. 15 hit points left on that NG. That is a near miss, my friend. I think you better head back to barracks, because you just... law of averages means you're going to get stepped on in about 2 minutes. But another lab hanging out on the right-hand side of the map this time for Lextalk. A Snoop in the area. He'll be well aware of these two units. And as such, TA4life turns around that engineer, saying, I'm not going to get caught out by you two, which is absolutely ideal, meaning he's not going to be hampered too badly. It's that Aeon Land Factory in play there, queued up for TA. Redirects his engineer back over that way, and finally that lab gets taken out. But we are seeing some planes on the field now, and a bomber out for TA4life, who's a little bit further ahead, of course, in the air game, going Air Factory second instead of third. But Lextok, going purely defensive, is going to be working on interceptors in the early game and wants to try and kill his bomb before he can do any damage, but doesn't manage to save that engineer for sure. A couple of shots off on that first interceptor. TA comes in with another escorting interceptor, gets in behind it though, and is going to buy that bomber more time to do its work. TA tries to micro above, but doesn't get the angle right. He's going to have to come in for a second pass if he wants to pick up this rear plateau engineer that could do with being micro, but Lextok's left it a bit late. You can see he went for some micro there, but doesn't manage it. And another cheeky bomb. 3 engineers down for Lextok. Nice work from TA4life. That bomber definitely paying for itself there. So good early work. Look at the stalling that is now created on Lextok's early eco, but still 23 or 25 now to 21, not a great deal in it, as well you would think there should be as you're approaching the 5-minute mark. No more units on this side to threaten that engineer for the moment. It can carry on doing its work. Parallel to the river though, on the left hand side of the main landmass, Lextok looks like he's trying to get a little bit of a cheeky run by in. A couple of mexes of course at the back on this one that might be vulnerable, but well aware of the impending threat. TA4life dispatching a couple of Auroras to guard this section of the map, so you won't be caught out, I don't think, especially not under any pressure from a couple of snoops with their horrendous 2 DPS that they put out. Very scary unit indeed. But Lextok doing some nice work here. He's got a couple of units in behind the front line. 1 mech's down there. Now a couple of units of build capacity under pressure. First one down, second one down, third one down. That's a whole little family tragedy, family engineered tragedy that has occurred in this little expansion here. Poor old TA. It's absolutely disgusting. First thing to be shown on Sky News. Terrible, terrible. Lextok also going to score another kill on the rear plateau. Going to prevent the completion of that final mechs up there. But TA4life still ahead, and no sooner do I say it, Lextok junks ahead en masse, but it's back and forth between these two. Not a lot in it, it has to be said. Who's doing better on reclaim though? I did see TA4life spending more time with engineers around the middle. 2,430 odd banked so far for him. Lextok on a paltry 244, so TA definitely doing better on the reclaim side of things. Neither player making any commitment to the side islands, but look at this. Lextok in the back there, heavily damaged. Striker finally getting taken out, but he has managed to kill off those 2 rearguard mexes, and one of those mechs is down on that side as well. So he's doing some nice work, but TA pushing quite far out with his ACU. I'm surprised he's not going to use it to kill off these units. He hasn't got a lot of intel coverage though, so he's not going to be aware. But look at this. We've got the airdrop coming over with a couple of engineers from Lextok. And almost, it must be anticipation because TA just doesn't have the intel to be aware of that. But it was about that time. Does bring in the inties to try and pick up the transport, but doesn't manage to do it before the NGs get dropped off. They immediately start construction of that land factory. We have got a bomber up here for TA, so he's immediately going out. He's not going for the grab initially, but going out for the deny if at all possible. However, he's going to need another bomber out soon if he wants to get there before that land factory goes online. Meanwhile, TA looking for the run by to the left of the central reservation on the main landmass. But Aurora's getting caught up in amongst the strikers, and that's generally not a great place, of course, for Auroras to be, yielding a ton of HP to their more hardy counterparts for UEF. Going to get sandwiched between 2 bodies of troops here. There's not going to be a great deal left of them once that little fracas finishes. And there is the land factory operational, of course, for Lextok. Already strikers making their way down the riverbank there, wanting to get up, see if there are any multi-little Aeon builds going on down here. But TA4life summering underwater this year, apparently. That's the hottest vacation spot on the map. We go away, want to get involved. Interesting decision. I wonder if we're going to see a cheeky proxy naval base spring up near Lextok's main. Quite interesting. But, no signs of it as yet. More units trying to get past from Lextok on the western river. Kind of struggle though. Got the range on those Auroras. Need to get one more shot, but not going to manage it. Thankfully there is one more Aurora waiting back here, so good awareness from TA, keeping Lexstock out of his base. And look at the amount of factories TA's running here. How many have we got? We are running at 16 T1 land factories for the moment for TA. Lexstock, conversely, we are looking at around 10. So a massive advantage production-wise for TA. You can see it, the amount of units heading north on this main body. And we already have one little drop there from TA, clearing the way with a couple of Auroras. Nice. And then a chariot fully laden with engineers. So it's going to be a 6 unit of build capacity drop going onto this side island. TA making a play for it. And that's a lot of build capacity. Yes, Lexstock is already established and producing units, but 6 engineers will catch you up in no time at all if you're allowed to operate for any length of time. And at the same time, we've got another drop happening up here. Just 3 units of build capacity from TA. He's well aware that there hasn't been any progress from Lexstock made on this top left-hand side island, so he doesn't need to outbuild him. Meanwhile, more attempts at run-bys from TA. Caught up in amongst the strikers. Not getting any real penetration at the moment, however. Lexstock needs to get in here if he wants to rescue that. Doesn't manage it in time. Further's ranging that mechs and taking it down. But still very close on eco. Whether or not that's going to be the same in a moment. A lot's going to depend on this side island. We've got one PD in place, a radar in place. TA committing a lot of resources to holding on to this now and making the grab. One land factory now operational, and more Auroras been airlifted in as well. TA very serious about making a play for that one. But this could be a cheeky run by now on the Western River for TA, knocking down 3 mexes as he goes. Gives himself a little bit of breathing room on the eco. Have been doing on reclaim. 6,400 in climbing for TA. 1,600 Lexstock really needs to get involved on the reclaim side of things, and soon. Doesn't want to fall behind on this one. However, we are seeing the emergence of some pillars, so Lexstock has made the transition to T2 land. There we go, there's the HQ right dead center in the middle of his base. I think we're seeing any tech coming out of TA yet. Yes, we are, but it's an air factory, so TA happy to go mass land spam, and he wants to back it up with teched up air. Of course, Aeon particularly good air-wise, so it's not a bad play. Swift Winds will beat Janus pound for pound, and of course Thrash interceptors, unless they're in overwhelming numbers. And he's actually looking pretty good on the T1 air front as well. Is he producing planes at the moment? He's just using that air factory to roll off T2 engineers for the moment. TA managing to get a few T1 units near through the bows of the base into the rear plateau. While I came over, just took out a radar there on that left-hand side. So Lexstock under pressure here as we approach the 14-minute mark in this one. Top left island now firmly in TA's hands, and I've got to say, it looks like Lexstock is yielding the bottom right. He's not producing anything out of those land factories anymore. He must be aware that TA is down here. Of course he is. There's that bottom left mass point. He's already seen the structures, so he's well aware of what TA is doing. He's going to yield that. Not going to put up a fight, so that's kind of interesting. Yet more territory falling into our blue Aeon players' pockets. And the central landmass already 65% under his control. TA on the move once again with his ACU. Didn't decide to do anything up this area. I'm wondering if it was originally a misclick, but certainly nothing going that way for the moment. 2 mexes now down on the side island for Lexstock. TA going to pull off a win, and he is now producing units out of there, so that is a miscalculation on how much he needed. Slight mistake there from Lexstock. Didn't intend to yield that island at all. TA looking for more of a run by once again. Lexstock trying to rebuild after the last one. Doesn't want to lose that T2 engineer though. Starting to see some T2 power go down as well for Lexstock. How's that being mirrored eco-wise down here? Well, there's already 3 three T2 P-Gens in play. Obviously, TA looking for a more heavy air build in terms of tech than his opponent's. Going to need that extra power. But already, nasty amount of pillars building up for Lextok. He's going to need smaller bands, though, if he wants to plug all of these gaps. TA finding another one, getting in amongst. He's building once again, unfortunately not with any fervors, though, so not causing any major damage to that expansion. Engineers going to get caught up front with the units of build capacity. People say, why don't the pros watch their engineers more carefully? Well, generally they're well aware that they're going to get slaughtered, but these engineers will have paid for themselves many, many times already by hoovering up all of the mass on the field. So it actually costs more to your game in terms of actions per minute and attention if you were to fuss around their location too much. Obviously you don't want to throw them away. But that's a nasty amount of pillars that Lextok has got in that group. 9 pillars and no ground tech whatsoever on the field for TA to be able to contend with it. He is producing Swift Winds finally. And a little bit of a drop now from TA. Yes, Lextok is having success on the ground up front, pushing his way towards the back of TA's base, but this is going to be something that's going to cause Lextok a little bit of a headache. A double drop on both sides. Or rather, 2 on this side and Singular over on that side. Lextok funneling some troops up to that rear plateau, but he's going to lose some mexes. There is no doubt about that. TA having problems down here, though. He could really do with some Spectres on the field. There's no anti-air left except for this one Skyboxer right in the center. If he can take care of that and bring in some gunships, the ideal way to tidy that up. However, starting them now is going to take a while, and he immediately gets working on some units of build capacity. Doesn't want to lose this HQ or indeed any of his T2 power generators right at the back there. Second eruptor online. See how much of a kicking those pillars take. And now we're seeing some Spectres in production. Lextok wisely giving himself a wide berth, but TA causing major headaches up here at the back. Lots of fervors in the mix. Hydrocarbon down. Not going to affect Lextok, I don't think. Still got 1,000 power net going into his coffers there, thanks to these 3 T2s that are online at the back there. Down goes that T2 mechs. But Lextok's going to hold on to those other T2 mexes, those 2 T2 mexes for the moment. TA losing a couple at the back here. See just how hardy those pillars are at this stage in the game. Such a long time for those gunships to chew through them. And another drop happening over here on the right. This time that's engineers. We're getting a little bit of a proxy-based build maybe happening at the back. Just to cause Lextok even more grievances, or is this just a reclaim mission? So far it's a sit and have a fag break mission at the moment. Another drop, this time on the left-hand edge of the rear plateau. Immediately starting a radar system, but Lextok is hip to your shit. TA brings in the pillars and denies whatever it was you were planning with that drop. However, it has allowed these fervors to come in and continue the pressure against these mechs. It doesn't want to lose this TT mechs. There it goes. This one's at 50% of its HP, and as those fervors open up on it, surely that's going to go down. There it goes. TA sitting on a 30 mass differential in his favor at the moment. Holding both of the side islands. Definitely could do with some tech on the field. Nice little bit of a point defense creep though on the left. T2 engineers up front. Started with him just sealing it off, or trying to, and now he's been advancing those Oblivion turrets, but he doesn't want to lose these T2 engineers. I think he's going to, so there'll be no more Oblivion turrets. We can get some more of those further up. Lextop having some success there with halting that, but isn't going to be able to push TA off the positions. There's far too many units of PD in play already. It's just taking so long for these Auroras and Fervors to chew through these pillars. It does concern me slightly for TA's sake. Definitely do with some ground tech. We have got ground tech. There's T2 Land HQ right at the back here. He's just using it to produce T2 engineers at the moment. But TA once again pressuring on all angles. Another drop coming in at the top corner of the western river. Those two transports going to offload those Fervors and Auroras without any problems. Interceptors looked like they were making a move there from Lextop, but they weren't in time. But meanwhile, nice little run by over the back. We've got T3 land for Lextop now, so this really is the classic age-old struggle of tech versus spam. Interestingly enough, Lextop not electing to go for Titans first, going straight for Percival's. I guess he feels like he's got enough pillars on the field. Doesn't need anything high rate of fire. Doesn't want to lose this huge chunk of build capacity in the middle though. That's why he's withdrawing those engineers in the face of impending Aurora assault. Now a few Spectres coming up in the western river, looking like they might be wanting to make some kind of entry around the back. TA still doesn't have control of the skies though. He's got a bunch of swift winds together, but there's a lot of inties in play for Lextok. Managed to grab one of the mexes down. Lextok inties are fragmented at the moment, going after the swift winds, but really should be worried about the Spectres. Not going to take an awful lot of fire from so few T2 fighters. Might as well just get in there and finish off those gunships before you lose any more of your eco. Eventually he does that once he's tidied them up, however. As these two groups of units merge, more and more nervous for TA. Yes, he's got some PD in place, but you know how dangerous Percival's can be. Continuing to press. One Oblivion turret down. Second soon to join it. TA funneling lots and lots of units over from his production facilities on that side of things. You can see in the background there. There's a nice little bit of pressure on that eastern river. And now we're getting some ascendants on the field, but still no offensive T2 units on the ground. It's a real shame, because imagine if those ascendants were all Obsidians. Lextok would be forced to back up at least. Now TA withdrawing units from this front line up here, potentially allowing a little bit of a run by from Lextok. However, there's a lot of Oblivion turrets for him to skirt around. I don't think he's going to get many or indeed any units left out of that. Maybe perhaps one single solitary striker. Not even that. So That gets dispatched without any real danger. And a TAC missile launcher being placed here, or has been placed on the peninsula from TA. Half done on the first one already. So, in fact, I'm guessing that's probably what's been pressurizing these mexes over here. This Lexstock's been slow to rebuild. He's certainly not building any TMD yet, so that might well be the first tactical missile that has been built in that silo. And we've got another one up here as well, which is already launching. One T2 mech's down, a second sure to follow it. One TAC missile will dispatch a T2 mechs. A T3 takes 2 TAC missiles. So this one at the back here, eat a couple before dying a death. I think that's maybe the one it's going for. No, he's going to go for the T2 first of all. Wise decision. Those P-gens would be a great move as well. Immediately, Lexstock starts working on some buzz kills. You can see that first one landing, taking down 2 of the mass storage there. There is a buzz kill further to the left. Got one shot in, needed a second to knock it out though. There's just a lot of tech on the ground now for Lexstock and not a lot for TA. But he does have a T3 land factory and it is producing harbingers now. He needs to get as many of those up front as possible. Lexstock somehow still keeping up eco-wise. He says he doesn't need mexes with all of these Auroras lying here. It's fair to say TA has been feeding him for the last 10 minutes or so, and 39,600 against 41,000. So you think of the deficit on the reclaim front at earlier stages in this game, and Lexstock has essentially caught up and written that deficit off now. He is well and truly back in this. And yes, he hasn't got a presence on the side islands. Yes, he's still at around 45% on the main land mass. But Percival's generally stomp their way through harbingers as it is, and there aren't even a lot of harbingers on the field. There's one popping out of the factory as we speak. And there's just not a lot on the ground to stop this. This leaves me very concerned for TA, who's played pretty damn well in this one so far. His spam's been unreal. Now, these pillars and Percival's collide with the structures in the main base. We do have some obsidians here, but that is too little, too late. One Harbinger strolls out front, but the Percival's primary it, and down it goes. And you know what? I cannot believe it, but I honestly think TA has lost this one. He drops a Harbutt back to do some more eco damage, but that's going to be too little too late. He's got nothing that can stop this stream of units heading south now from Lexstock, with many more reinforcements following in behind. TA4life's ACU is up back here. It's producing a Serenity, hopefully maybe to get some AoE damage down on these units while they're taken up, destroying the peripheral structures of his base, but it looks like they're beelining straight for his ACU, and he really doesn't have anything to stop it. There's some T1 PDs down here, some more Eruptors down here, but I think at this stage it is too little too late. T3 air in play though. Shocker out, Strap Bomber going overhead, going straight for the Percys. You can see it's going to need 3 passes just to kill any of those. Serenity opens up. TA4life out front is going to need some very cunning use of the overcharge, but the Percys are bearing down now, and as they turn, they're going to prioritize TA4life's ACU, and that is going to be game. Very convincing turnaround there from Lexstock. Honestly thought TA4life had that one. Fantastic spam, 34 minutes, almost on the nose, but very nice comeback indeed. Hope you enjoyed that as always, guys. More to come from me in the future. In the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle signing out.